How are you? My name's Joe Sorrentino. I'm going to introduce the AS9100 2016 Quality Management Systems Requirements for Aviation, Space, and Defense Organizations. Now there's some great things that are happening here, and I really enjoy the way it was structured, the way it was put together, and even the numbering system on that. It actually made sense. It made sense as to how to achieve a good foundation for a company and how to apply it. What I'm going to do is go through the standards, the requirements, and then give some excerpts and my explanation of how to apply it, and I think you're going to have a great time. So please hang on. The introduction should be a strategic decision for your organization, your company. It should be based on the ability to consistently provide product and services that meet customer and applicable statutory and regulatory requirements. It should also provide opportunities to enhance customer satisfaction, addressing risk and opportunities within the context and the objectives of the organization, demonstrating conformity to the quality management system requirements. It's not intended to imply the need for uniformity, alignment of clauses, the use of specific terminology. It doesn't require that. What it requires is that you establish a good management system to produce good products to your customers, to provide customer satisfaction. And like the other standards, the actual process approach is applied. The only difference is they bring a little bit more specifics to it, such as use a risk-based thinking process. The process approach is the application of a system of risk-based processes within the organization. Managing and mitigating risk. There's simple risk tools that can be used. There are workers, there are procedures, there are documents, there's test results. These are things we use to reduce the risk of problems. And then we got sophisticated risk tools. And these sophisticated things can be SPC, statistical process control, shake and bake, which we call validation and verification. Shake and bake is just a term that we use in the field there, and it means that we take it and put it through the extreme conditions that it's going to be subjected to when it's in use at the customer for products. And software and hardware, those are sophisticated. We use them to do analysis and on risk and analysis on structural failure, analysis on a lot of things. Even the context of supplying a service, we can use software to do that. And risk is a coherent picture. I like that term, a coherent picture, because what that means is there could be little things that are happening in a company that lead you to believe that there could be something wrong. I always put it like this: if it walks and talks like a duck, it's probably a duck, and it's something to look into. So when we're dealing with risk, if something just doesn't feel right in the organization, that's what they mean by a coherent picture. Let's go a little bit deeper into risk-based thinking. It's meant to find facts that cause processes and systems to deviate from the planned results. We have to determine what can cause a problem. Internally, it's personnel, experience, common sense. This is risk-based thinking. Product knowledge, the environment, the infrastructure, this is all risk-based thinking. So if we take that, that's internally. Outside or output, things to mitigate risk, the things that we use acceptance criteria, we use training, we use our computer system, we use processes, security systems, and we establish guidelines for what's going on, hopefully to identify a potential risk that could have an adverse effect on our organization. Single process element. Let's take a look at this. This is pertaining to risk, a strategic relationship of the elements of a single process. The customer requirements is input. The information that we have on risk is an input. The activities we use to management risk are our processes and procedures, and when we develop our planning and everything like that. The organization output is the product or service that we provide, and the rewards of the output are a good product and a good service, customer satisfaction. That's what it's all about. It's a very simple little process. The plan, do, check, act, the PDCA has a lot to do with everything. We plan what we're going to do. We establish the objectives and processes necessary to deliver results in accordance with the customer requirements and the organization's policies. So when we establish objectives, remember, objectives always have to be measurable. We can't establish an objective if we can't measure it. And then do it. We implement a process. And then we check that process. We monitor and measure the process and product against the policies, objectives, and requirements of the product and report the results. And then we act. We take action to continually improve the process performance. That may mean we go back up to the planning process and start all over. In other words, we adjust and correct to make sure that we actually can accomplish a PDCA. Plan, do, check, act. This is a great policy for everything. You can use it at home with your children. It's a great system. The Organization Management System, Section 4. The input is the customer requirements. The output is product and services and customer satisfaction. You can see how they go through the system. Now, in the loop, initially, organization and its context is in Section 4. Now, the context of the organization engulfs everything. The internal, external, and everything involved, the agency, all the interested parties, and the needs and expectations have to be achieved. We have to determine what they are. And anyway, we start with our planning in Section 6 to actually provide that product or service. And that goes to our support and operations, which is 7 and 8. And then we do it, and in Section 9, it's the performance evaluation. We have to determine and evaluate what's going on, and then we're going to actually improve. We're going to have continuous improvement or improvements within the organization, which is talked about in Section 10. So that's what the system looks like. It's very simple, very relaxed, and in the center of that is leadership. If you don't have good leadership with responsibility and authority well defined, then this whole system collapses on itself. So the next section is going to be dealing with terms and definitions. This is very important because we have to learn the correct terms and definitions to use in our organization.